All of you are welcome to the group. We hope that this video makes you want to join. So it's been about 48 hours since it was announced that the case is pretty much over, and XRP is now worth about $2.39. I've also been reading some of the comments on the videos, and yesterday I saw one that really stood out to me, and basically it was like, well, XRP didn't pump from the lawsuit being made. I guess it would be best to sell and move on. Everyone should know that we just got past one of the biggest problems for XRP. Now, anyone can guess what might happen next. Because that case is over and XRP is now fully available, think about what else could happen. There could be big news about partnerships. It's possible that big banks and other institutions will use XRP, accept it, and connect to the XRP ledger. I want you to know that price movement isn't the only thing that matters. It's not just about, okay, is this worth the price? There are times when you need to look further than just price action to really understand what's going on in this area and with this technology. Okay. I don't think that the SEC case being dropped is necessarily a big price driver. I believe it's a trigger. It's clear that it's always been a spark. Other than that, though, I'm really interested in what happens when everything is over. You guys probably already know what else is going on when we talk about relationships and announcements. It looks like someone broke into your guru's account yesterday, which is why a few posts were sent out. And this shows that the Watcher Guru X account was hacked in fake news about XRP Swift spread. In short, they used the account to spread false information about a relationship between Swift and Ripple that would use XRP to make payments across borders. They quickly took down the post that wasn't supposed to be there and have since locked the account while they look into the breach, which doesn't seem to have a clear cause. I now have pictures of it. The number one was from Bitru. Bitru was the one who also wrote about it. They pretty much copied the same post we have here, which was about how they were almost ready to agree with Ripple to use XRP for payments across borders, with billions of XRP held in escrow as backups for cash. It was posted at 7:05 p.m., and XRP was going at about $2.42 at the same time yesterday. After the news that their account had been hacked, there was a big jump to about $2.46, and then a big drop. The funny thing is that a lot of these fake news stories have big announcements in them, like the BlackRock ETF statement, right? It was also a lie, and that was months ago. But what I really want to talk about here is trickery. Although Watcher Guru's account was said to have been hacked, we don't know for sure. I wouldn't rule out the possibility that someone bought a lot of XRP longs. After this was posted, they sold things that made them money and then said, oh, by the way, our account was hacked. That wasn't real. Once more, it's very interesting. It's clear that we don't know what's going on here. They did say that their account had been hacked and that they had sent texts to a former employee 2 weeks ago because they thought someone was trying to get into our account. And that's pretty much the whole breakdown of that. So could this have been just a hack in the space? Without a doubt, it could have been. When we really think about what's going on in and out of this space, right? Every day there are big cybersecurity risks and attacks. In the same way we see big risks in the area of cybersecurity, hacks happen all the time in crypto. So I don't think I need to say it again. You should know that Bybit was hacked not long ago. Big exchanges and accounts are getting hacked all the time, and there are a lot of phishing efforts. I wouldn't say this could have been real or fake. I think it probably happened. I find it very interesting though that the hacker was focusing on XRP in this case, which I find really funny. Anyway, now that we think about it, this has been a problem in the XRP community for years, right? Even as far back as 2023, Swift announced that they would be working together with Wise, now called TransferWise, to give banking institutions and their customers more ways to send and receive money across borders. Still, I said that Wise probably isn't using Ripple or XRP. I also said that they are likely using Tranglo, which Ripple owns 40% of. I love the idea of domino effects in this field, where one partnership could let hundreds of companies see certain assets. Swift is working with Wise to make it easier to pay for crosswords. I think Ripple has forced a few moves in the past and kept pushing Swift to come up with new ideas. I don't see Swift as a rival to XRP or Ripple. Instead, I see Swift as something that needs to change or die. There was a lot of good news for Swift when Joel Katz, also known as David Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple, said that banks should pay Swift to use RippleNet. Is this going to happen again? It's possible. We don't have any proof that Swift will use Ripple or XRP yet, but we do have a post from Swift on the 20th, the same day that these posts were made about Swift using XRP and Ripple. But this is how we make it possible for businesses around the world to make payments without any problems. I'm not so interested in what they're saying in this post. There's no doubt that they're talking about big projects for big banks. They do have a project called the Corporates Working Group, which is made up of 26 corporations from different areas and industries, and 25 major banks. It's actually backed by a network of 8 technology partners, who as you know are very important for finding the biggest problems, setting goals and testing out new features. Now ISO 2002 is the most important thing to pay attention to. There is also a quote that says the goal of ISO 2002 is to give businesses and banks a single standard that makes cross-border repayments better. This will let them get the most out of the rich data, faster speeds and connectivity it provides, which will improve reconciliation. We know that ISO 222 is a key part of the big change in payments when we think about what's going on here. We do know that ISO 222 has a lot to do with crypto, making it possible to use DLT blockchain tokenization. Just like any other puzzle piece, ISO 222 doesn't tell us everything that's going on. I also want to go over here, after this post, to this post from this year's January 8th, because as I already said, ISO 222 is just one piece of the story. Here are the next few parts of the puzzle. The rise of digital assets could lead to new, creative and more efficient ways to trade stocks. But despite the promise, the tokenization world is still broken up, which makes it harder to scale and get a lot of people to use it. In our most recent study, we list 5 important things that need to be done to build a strong ecosystem for digital assets. And inside this, it's just swift.com/digital assets. Okay, through standardization and interoperability, this is how to grow the business around the world, using digital asset instruments to their full potential and linking digital islands. Now we have live tests of Swift transfers for digital assets. Digital assets and currency deals will be tested in real time by banks in North America, Europe, and Asia over the Swift network, and then collaborative trials look into more complicated ways to use CBDC. One crazy thing about this is that we can see the details of this PDF file on Swift's website, so we know it's real. The most important thing was roles and duties. The second thing is token roles. The third one was the cash leg. Next was cross-chain compatibility, which came in at number 4. This time it really does come from Swift. There are more and more digital asset securities being issued. These include both tokenized versions of traditional securities and digitally native issues. Using DLT distributed ledger technology and smart contracts, these securities could change the way global financial markets work. These new ideas could lead to new ways to trade, settle, and handle assets. This is what Swift says. A lot is being said about tokenization. And here are the main areas of potential that I talked about before. It's pretty crazy that over 11,000 big banks, other financial institutions, credit companies and more are connected to Swift, the world's largest financial network. Plus they talk about DLT blockchain, making sure that a lot of people use this place. You can see how ISO 22 fits in with this too. People still don't seem to know what's going on here, which I think is crazy. Now let's go back to the original point of view. For example, this news that Swift and Ripple are almost ready to sign an agreement. Could this really happen? 100%. I mean, this is a very long paper from Swift that talks about DLT and tokenization. Also keep in mind that the BIS, the Central Bank of Central Banks, has a group called the CPMI, Committee on Payments and Market Infrastructures. This is where Swift works with Ripple and many other big names in the industry, such as Master